Let's get started with part 3. Finally, we get to talk about my favorite types of lenses. Wide-angle lenses! Let's start by taking a look at 19mm. This is considered an ultra-wide lens. This is the reason why most people will pick an ultra-wide lens in 19mm or a wide-angle lens like a 24mm when they need to show every facet of the interior, like in this real estate photo. Wide-angle lenses, by their very nature, have distortions. Let's take a look at these two photos side by side so we can explore the distortion they have. As you can see on one photo on the left, as you can see on this right-hand example, it looks like these baskets are really far away. I'm standing at the exact same distance. The only difference? I used a less wide-angle lens. Let's proceed to these boats I captured in Greece. I want you to pay close attention to the corners. A other effect of a wide-angle lens is the distortion they tend to have in the corners. As you can see in this example, the lines in the image also appear to be stretched out. Now, moving on to this next example of this flower, I want you to notice something. Do you see it? No. The flower looks extremely large in comparison to the background. This is a other effect of wide-angle lenses. You can use this distortion effect to create some extremely creative photos like you can see in this example here. Let's now take a look at this other example. Got extremely close to this toy boat, taking advantage of the foreground effect and the wide-angle distortion. This causes the boat to appear to be extremely large in comparison to the pier. You can also use this effect to make somebody's limbs look longer than they actually are. But for the exact same reason, I really wouldn't do too many close-ups of people's faces with a wide-angle lens, which would cause the facial features to look stretched out and disproportionate to how they actually look. It's not a particularly flattering look. This is why photos like this never tend to do a scene justice, because things don't look proportionate to how they would look if you were actually there. This photo was taken in Kauai at the Waimea Canyon's National Park. Let's move on to this other example. This photo was taken at Fort Caswell in North Carolina. This photo is a fantastic example of wide-angle distortion. You can see the thing closest to the lens looks ginormous compared to the rest of the image. As we move to the middle of the photo, it looks proportionately smaller than the front of the image does. As we move to the back of the image, we can see that the background looks proportionately smaller than the rest of the image does. This is why most phone footage and drone footage has a particular look to it, because they're using wide-angle lenses. One more thing to note before we can move on to talking about standard view lenses, and that's lens distortion. This is separate distortion from the standard wide-angle and telephoto distortion we will discuss in a moment. There is pincushion distortion and barrel distortion, and mustache distortion, which is a combination of both those things. As you can see, pincushion distortion, as you can see, is when the image looks pinched, like this. Barrel distortion is when the image looks bowed out, like you can see in this example. This type of distortion you can quickly and easily correct for. The other type of lens distortion is like the distortion natural to a wide-angle lens is this inherent. There's no way to correct it out with software or engineer it out. Get ready for part 4.